There's that. Was that something you did, or is that something you? Oh, okay, gotcha. All right.
Like a chunk.
No, wrong button. So, all right. I think I got my timing down. Let's try it. Are you tired of being awesome alone? Well, so are we. So Tyra and Charles came together so we can all be awesome together. I repeat it together twice, now 3 times.
It says stream this to your audience. It doesn't stay live.
So Tyra, we have an intro that we go through, and it's letting you stream it to your audience if you would like to, because on our side, we're good to go. Hello, Kratos.
Oh, it does say live.
Mine does. Mine says live. So we're going to try this again. All right. Let's be awesome at it.
Let's do it.
I missed my timing. Do it again. Are you tired of being awesome alone? So are Charles and Tyra. So we came here tonight to be awesome together. Damn it.
This is a precursor to how this night's going to go, isn't it?
My goodness. Hello, the
Hi,
mysterious
Charles.
cause and the mysterious T-Ray. Oh, it's a night. It's a night. And the topic we picked tonight absolutely fits into everything. Those times when you don't cut out time to pick a topic, to do prep, to write some words for your novel, to put some music down on a track, whatever it is. As creatives, if we do that too often, we stop being creative and we start being suits. I don't know what the opposite of creative is, but it is not great for us. Oh, it's raining on Tyra. She is playing with a bunch of new toys tonight, apparently on camera.
What a better time to play with them.
I mean, they're great. What do they call reaction? Something?
Reactions.
Yeah, reactions. So
I have Tinkerbell now.
Lasers. I can see that. And you got the Wish version of Squirtle from Pokemon, or
no, this Finding Nemo, the turtle.
You forgot his name. I messed you up. That's okay.
Is it Crush? I don't know. Anyway.
No, I think that's Daddy.
Yes, I think, that is Daddy. I don't know what the little ones. Navy, the toys will cover the purses.
Yeah, people, let me tell you, she talks about being a broke teacher, but all those Birkin bags up there say otherwise.
Birkin bags.
So
I just like to point out, Nettle Shelf still here. So still hoping. Squirt, that's his name. His name is Squirt. You're correct.
Metal Shelf Watch 2025. High five.
True.
It's still here.
Every week we're going to talk about my shelf.
That metal shelf is going to stay here longer than California. So I'm sorry, too soon. My bad. No, seriously, we have friends out there, and every once in a while I like some dark humor, but it's a lot. It's a lot going on out in LA and that part of California. And hopefully everything will be fine and good for most everybody there, but especially for Dot, who we're trying to get on the show. I've known her for a long time in the podcasting world, and we reconnected recently. And about the time we were talking about getting her connected with you, Tyra, so we can get her form filled out and start picking some dates, a little spark of a fire broke out and is raging across the whole section of the state. So,
well, it's just horrible. The devastation is,
yeah,
and it's still going. It's undescribable. So, but to not dwell on that,
and not set me up for dark humor jokes, because that's all I want to do tonight. I'm tired. I just want to be darkness. Darkwing Duck is who I want to be tonight. That's who I want to be.
Do you know what I've realized?
What have you realized?
If you had been trapped in the elevator with me at
we'd have had a blast.
Conjuration, the pregnant woman would have gone into labor from anxiety.
Yeah, totally. And I would have delivered that baby. And that made number 5 for my career. So it would have been okay either way. I would have definitely chokeholded that dude that kept running his mouth about all the bad things that could happen or whatever.
That's dark humor. So you would have been contributing. You would have been the guy that we were like, okay, we're going to have to kill him.
Maybe. You're too short. You can't reach that high. It's okay.
My husband can.
But I guarantee you I could have made him laugh. So we're good there. Or I'd distract him like, look over in the corner, it's Chiefs. And he would have turned around and been fine.
That's probably true.
No, I love shade. So yeah, we're a little rambling, but here's the thing. When you do have life going on and you get tired, I just had a snow break basically. And in my mind, in my creative mind, I'm like, oh man, I can spend a lot of time on Friday and Saturday and Sunday where I have zero commitments because everything is snowed in and I'm not going anywhere. And I'll just clean up all the wise nerdy. I'll clean up all the be awesome together. I'll get my site. No. And my body, that's been going for like 2 years without a break, it feels like, it went, yeah, no, we're going to sit here and we're going to chill, man. And that was the hardest, easiest thing I ever did. and that happens in life, right? You do have to make those breaks. But
it's hard though when you are always working and like you have your day job and then you have your creative job and you want to be able to get to your creative job, but you can't because there's this day job. So
yeah. And I mean, at certain points in time, we both have energy that we're working well into the night. Also, especially as we get closer to Dragon Con, we start feeding on that deadline energy and those kind of things, and we get things done. But
ADHD, it can be tough. Insomnia is the best to get things done. My dog walked me up this morning at 4, scratching his ear. I could not go back to sleep, so I packed part of Christmas, which, by the way, we still have not packed.
But you love Christmas, so you're not like in a rush.
No, we're in a rush. It has to come down after the 12th. The 12th is kind of the cutoff. So
I hear you. That was a couple of days ago.
Yes, I know. Yeah, the den's down. One tree's down.
July 12th. Got you. Understood. So we're good.
I think that's when we're going to start putting it up. I mean, seriously.
I mean, what's more America than Christmas trees? You know?
It's true. We donated one this year because we got a new one.
Oh, yeah.
So Charles, go ahead.
Life happens that way. What is something that you do to keep yourself creating when life is
crazy?
Wow. Yeah.
Meditation. It is, especially if I'm writing nonfiction. I've got a book that I've been writing about my parents. And if I meditate and then I have a couple of like animal card decks or, nice little sayings decks by a lady who, this is from yesterday, but Daisy is her last name. I can't remember her first name right now. It's going to drive me crazy. But she has a deck of cards and I will pull things from it. And it's just images that are nature bound. And that usually gets me thinking about something and it'll spark a memory. And from there, I might start writing. Follies and nonsense whims and inconsistencies do divert me. I own and I laugh at them whenever I can. And that was by Jane Austen. And so sometimes, and I actually bought her calendar this year so I could get all her quotes. And that was completely backwards for those of you turning in because my camera is whatever. It's tips. So, I use things like that. I find that if I can still my mind a little bit because it's going 60 miles an hour, that helps. What about you? What do you do?
I have people depend on me is what I do. The independent creation, I have to find a way to get motivated. So when I'm in the flow and I'm motivated, I'm good to go. But it's hard to get there to the flow. And again, I can't remember a time for a while now where I just didn't do anything, just decompressed, just sat, just chilled out. Because any little trips, and they are little, it's not like week-long vacation or anything, but any little 3-4 day trips at most that I take is going. Yeah. It's adventure time. And it's just as exhausting or tiresome as work and everything else. But like tonight, this would have been one of those days. So I do have to swap that. I'll let you talk in a minute. I got to swap over dispatch. I was supposed to do a few hours ago, but I'm on like 36 hours of dispatch, which is way worse than it sounds, or sounds way worse than it is.
It sounds horrible.
It is. I got 2 calls after I went to sleep last night. And it's not bad. I actually went to sleep around 11. And so I have it all day during the day. Now we had some things change up and I just take it on. And then last night we had some things go on and so I'll just keep the phones and went to bed a little early and about midnight got woken up and then took care of that. And then I think again at 4, right before 4:00 in the morning. And then that one I had to sit and make sure the crew got up because they had been running for a while. They were tired. I mean, you're talking about 15 minutes. Then went back to sleep and got up at 6 just to go to the bathroom. I'm like, really? Those other times I couldn't have just got, come on, man.
Hey,
we got multitask.
You should have gone when you got up. I mean, come on,
exactly.
Just make it part of the routine.
And so, but about 8:30, my alarm goes off and I was fine. And I got to work and everything. And then the more I sat there, the more I did things, the more just kind of the interruptions, right? It just kind of brought me not down, but to a point where I was just, I'm all right. And some days like that, I'd be going, you know what? I really don't know how much energy I have to give tonight. And I don't want to live the life of uppers and downers where I got to take a 5-hour energy to be there. And then after the show, I got to take something to help me come down and go to sleep.
Because they call that addiction.
We can't say those words. This is a family show.
We can say that word.
It's a bleeption, okay?
A bleeption. It's an issue.
It's an issue. And they have pills for that. So, wait, no, that's addiction. We're full circle, Tyra, full circle. But what I do is I have somebody like you that can take things on if it really is an emergency, but it's somebody I want to come talk to, somebody that, we'll laugh together, we'll inspire each other. Even if we sit for an hour and talk about nothing, we'll have fun doing it.
At least we'll have fun. And maybe Kaz is having fun.
Yeah. And then, so there's Kaz who, I'm trying to phrase this right. Like she dedicates herself to be behind the scenes, to be here for us, to help, keep reminders of things. And it's not right for her to be willing to show up after her long days and stuff. And for me to go, I'm just not feeling it tonight. Unless if I'm truly not, and I'm going to come here and go, are you tired of being awesome together? Well, effing it, so am I. So screw it. We're not going to be awesome. If
we're
I'm
not awesome.
Energy, right? I got to pull back. So that's really how I do it, is if I know I'm going to let somebody down, even if you don't say it, Tyra, I know you're like, well, okay, I can handle this, but it's going to throw you into a different spin and a different world that you have to figure out. And I'd just rather show up.
I mean, I can talk to myself for an hour, but really, do people really want that? I mean, they may not know that they want that, but
Well, how will they know until we?
Hi, everybody. Charles has left the building and left me no controls whatsoever. It's awesome. And a winky wink to you too, Kaz.
You said you couldn't read without your glasses.
No, I
lied to you.
The second monitor that is over here now. So I got my creativity on by finally my new Mac Mini arrived. And now my Mac Studio monitor, which I love and can't believe I bought. And then I have another monitor over here. So now I'm finally back to being 2 monitors. I'm exceedingly happy and not relying on my laptop to try to do everything. So, and that is a creative thing, like having the right tools, whether that's having, the right equipment to be able to create wherever you want to create. So like my sister, for example, she became an artist in her 60s and she was using an old iPad and it was old. I mean, she had to plug it in and had to put a book kind of on it to make sure that it charged.
Oh, yes.
The contact was losing.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the Christmas this year, she got a new iPad Pro.
Nice.
And she's like, I can't believe what she can draw with it. Like her ability to draw, because she draws really fine, detailed things, is off the charts now because she's got better equipment. She's got better tech to help her do what she does. And so it's amazing that having the right tools can really make creativity easier. I use something called For the Words when I have to write, if I have the time. And it's a gamification of writing. So you kill monsters by writing words.
Nice.
And if you're a World of Warcraft girly and no longer in recovery, because I downloaded that puppy on this new computer and we're playing tonight.
Yeah, I need to talk to you about something. Madam.
What?
I pull up Discord to give you your link for this evening, and it clearly states, you turn it off, but clearly states something about World of Warcraft 99 hours and counting. Like, Tyra, this is why you don't create. You've done 100. This clock has I think it maxed out at the time it could count on Discord.
I didn't even know it. Well, I have BattleNet running in the background. I haven't.
That's probably what it really was. But yeah,
I will tell you what the biggest problem is going to be is Diablo is on mobile devices.
It's not the same. It's fun, but it's very much a drag and move, and it does everything for you kind of thing.
No, I love that. I'm all
do
for
you?
that.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Gotcha.
I mean, I played. So there's a story about me in Diablo. My mother died in March of 2010, 11, 15. Heavens to Betsy. I got married in 2010. My dad died in 2011, and my mom died in 2015. And the way I dealt with her death was I played an ungodly amount of Diablo.
Gotcha.
And Diablo has angels in it.
That'd be what, 2 or 3 at that point? 2011 was probably
I think 3. I think it was 3. Yeah. And angels are a huge part of the expansion I was playing, and my mother collected and loved angels. So I fought a demon to deal with my grief. So Diablo has a very special place in my heart, but they no longer have it on a Mac. Bastards. So the fact that I could pick up my phone and play it, awesome.
No, I 100% get that. I found the phone version after playing Diablo 4, but the parts that scratch my brain itch for Diablo 4, and I mean Diablo 3 was okay. Phil took me through it, and I was mostly just inebriated, followed him around that world and all that. So my first real foray was in 4. Even though I beat 3, but I just like, I'm just smashing buttons and hanging out with my buddy. I don't really know what the heck is going on. Cause he had beaten it a bunch of times. So he just skipped the story, and we're live streaming it and all that jazz. Anyway, gotcha. So 4, I got into it, and it's the mix of the powers and when to execute them, and figuring out your own order and for your character and how you play your character. Because we can make the same character, play it totally different.
Absolutely.
And so I liked all of that. So the phone, even though I refused to take it off my phone, uninstall. That's the word, uninstall it. I refuse to uninstall it. I don't ever play it because it's the on rail. It's not on rails, but it doesn't scratch the same itch that the Xbox version does. Yes, I see.
It was scratching my itch. That's all I got to say.
Good.
I'm very excited. Yeah,
and
it's the little things.
It is the little things, and I think. Well, obviously, I know today is because I'm tired, and there's still parts of my job, of my life, I just don't want to do, and I know there's a world where Tyra's awesome and Charles isn't. That's just called normal life. But it's Tinkerbell. That's only at the after hours. Yeah.
You're so bad. I just figured out what you said.
I'm Gaston. I'm just handsome and evil.
And a candelabra.
Oh yeah, that's not the bad guy.
No, that's Lumiere. Gaston is
the bad guy.
Bad guy, yes.
No, I could never hold a candle to Lumiere. He's awesome. And yes, I made a bad dad joke because Joe's not here. Thank you.
Where is Joe? Why isn't Joe here?
Because this is not Thursday night. He's putting his kids down. How he phrases it every time we run into him around 8 o'clock. I'm putting my kids down. I was like, dude, you could phrasing.
Come on. Phrasing does matter.
But that creativeness, I made sure to do a video this morning before I went into work, and I just gotta do. I won't post it without captions. It just drives me crazy. I know I get to talking fast. I know sometimes I mutter things. And I know that there's just times where people are scrolling on low or no volume, and I want to capture your interest. So if my motions, my face, whatever energy captures you stop for a second. I always want captions up there so you can read it. I've been told by many people who know me that helps a lot, especially because when I'm very passionate, and
captions are just it because people are watching while they shouldn't be.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I have to do. There's no real editing. It's just a matter of getting the captions, and then making sure it's pretty much spelled right. If it's spelled wrong, it's because I'm okay at spelling. I used to be horrible at spelling. I'm much better now, but it's just because I didn't catch that that's not how that's supposed to be spelled. But I really hate when it's simple words and I hear you say water and it spells it mud, or something that's not what you said at all. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a good analogy, but it just drives me crazy. If you're going to do captions, take the extra minute to make sure your captions are right. That's just me. So I haven't processed it yet, but it'll be processed after the show. But I did that because it was so easy not to do a video during the 3-day winter solstice break that I took. Cannot tell you how much fun I had. I think I told you, Tyra. I told most everybody I bought myself a projector for Christmas. It's one of those things where it's in the price range and tech, right? My wife is very careful about tech because I am super tech guy. Side note, this kind of creative show it is tonight. I left my stuff on the counter, but I'm carrying those microphones with me everywhere because they fit in my pocket perfectly.
And you're going to show me how to use them this weekend better.
I am going to show you how to use them this weekend. And hey, everybody, guess what? They work for more than just doing TikTok videos. I have pulled them out at many a meeting here recently because a USB-C goes right into my computer, and they work perfectly with Macs. I haven't tried on a PC at all, but I'm sure it does the same. Sure it does. And it's so cool just to throw the two. When I cover today for a meeting, I covered the entirety of the room, which is an office big enough to hold 3 desks and a couch and some chairs, and everybody could hear clearly. Earlier this week or last week, I put one on my partner, Brian, and just clicked it in his pocket, and I had the other one because he likes to sit away from the computer so he could see the TV where we put the meeting up and that and stuff. But you could hear him clearly, of course. And yesterday, we're all sitting around a conference table, and we don't have conference phones. We're not that kind of company. We don't want to be that kind of company. But I'm an audio guy. And I'm also a video guy, but I know the camera was fine, but I want everybody to be able to hear. So I just clipped them on these little things down on the table, and somebody goes, "What are those?" I'm like, that's a microphone. Like, oh my God, you're so techie. You're so techie. You always just live in the future.
It makes you look good.
It does. And everybody's blown away by how small they are and this and another. I forget living in this world. I've watched microphones get smaller, smaller, smaller. And actually I have a set there, tiny little sticks that don't sound great, but they work. You can see on my TikTok, these little $7 lavaliers I got from TikTok. And they're just fine. And so everybody's amazed. They don't think about it. I say all that to say, of course, my wife isn't going to go buy a projector unless I put a specific one on my list,
right?
Because I have very specific standards that I hold that I can't always communicate. So I bought one for myself. And for New Year's Day, when her family came over and wanted to watch the football game, we just propped it up. You've been to my house, so you know that big whiteboard by the front door?
Yeah.
We covered that whole thing with the projector, basically. Nice. And everybody's like, oh my God, let's go. So we watch the football games on it. It's nice. It's fun. It's right there in the kitchen without having to be in the way of anything. So that's what we did all weekend. We just played Tears of the Kingdom. We picked that up again and we never beat it. So we just started playing through it again, and just hours upon hours. But I didn't do a single video. Thought about it a few times.
Okay.
Might have been day drinking a little bit because why not? You're not going anywhere.
No, why not?
But so point being long.
Where were we?
Huh? We're talking about how you stay creative when life is happening and ups and downs. I made a mental point today to talk about something and call TV's Travis out, tag him, not call him out, because that sounded negative, but to interact with TV's Travis with a question that I'm going to ask you as well, because it'll take us in a different direction.
I have notes of things to ask you, by the way.
Okay. But the question I asked Travis, I'm going to put on TikTok, and you can actually, if you wish, store it and do a video yourself, but I thought you might entertain people here.
Yes.
It's been a long time since a movie really, really impacted me and affected me. And I recently got to go to AMC Screen Unseen, which I'm a huge fan of. I go to almost all of them, and they're all sneak previews, and you don't know what you're going to see, which is the unseen part. That's the whole thing. Sometimes they're indie films. More likely lately, they've been, like I saw Gladiator 2 about a week before it released, because you just never know what you're going to get. And I think we've only walked out of like 2 of them. Just because, no, 3. One was an anime that we just weren't familiar with. And, when they do an anime movie, you really need to know what led into it. One was a comedy that's just so my style, and Erin just said she'd watch it later. And then another one was like this Christian history film that I don't like Angel Studios. Nothing against them. If you like them, great. It's just
not your cup of tea.
Exactly. Not my cup of tea. Thank you. And so, but it wasn't offensive. It's just like, it's not for me. We'll do something else. And we watched the new Robbie Williams movie, Better Man. And it's been a long time since something impacted me. I probably think about that movie once a day, every day. I've listened to the music a lot. I'm going to be going on Wait You Haven't Seen at the end of this month to talk about it with Travis.
Oh, cool.
So my video today was this. Here's the question. I talked about that setup, this and the other. And I mean, it truly moved me and touched me. What's the last movie? It's a either or question. What's the last movie you saw that moved you emotionally and impacted you? Or what's one that you always go to and it hits hard, or it motivates you, or you learn something new from it every time?
Okay, we don't watch a lot of movies is the first thing I'm going to tell you. Which we did, but we don't. What do I go to? So I'm going to fall back on that one.
I mean, it could be a book. It doesn't have to be a movie.
I'm going to say Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
Every single time that movie is on, I'm going to watch it because it's not the first movie where it's kind of youthful, hopeful feeling that you get in Star Wars. It's not Return of the Jedi where you're getting hope being fulfilled. It's in the middle where things are not great.
Yeah.
But it has some of the most impactful things and realizations. So being a Han Solo lover, the whole I love you, I know, it's a lot about life in a way. The other thing I'll say is I think the thing that I go back to time and time again is games. It's more likely for me to go back to a game or a TV series. Like MASH is always going to be something that pulls my heartstrings. If I want to laugh, it's going to be Designing Women. But if I want to immerse myself in a different reality, I'm going to go to World of Warcraft. I'm going to go back to those characters. We just watched the opening cinematic for War Within, and immediately I was pulled back into this decade-long relationship I've had with this game, and actually almost 2 decades. Anyway, moving on now, because that was a little frightening. But immediately I'm captured by it and captured by the hope of it. And in this case, it was Anduin's story, and I just love it. But I'm going to sit here and think about that one. I may actually have to make a video.
Yeah, good, because that would be really cool. Kaz says, recently equals flow. A go-to for me is Inside Out 2. I talk about it daily at work because it's a great way to talk about emotions. And that's obviously what she does for a living. She helps families and our family members of patients would not help cope with what's going on with the family in the hospital and those kind of things. I know I'm oversimplifying it, Cause, but obviously, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, and
it does.
You couldn't use it if you didn't relate to it. So I'm sure there's a lot there.
I mean, I want to build a snowman. I'll watch Frozen and Tangled any day of the week.
You had your chance this weekend to make snowman.
I did, and we didn't, sadly.
Yeah,
I got pelted with snowballs, though.
Not it. I came outside, tried to do some work for a few hours, but that biting winter cold, there was not enough heater to keep it off of me in the studio here.
Oh, About Time, yes.
Yeah, Melodic Blue. The movie About Time will break me and share me into pieces every single time. So for the longest time, it's really hard to explain. Just let me tell the story, people. I know Tyra knows, but I'm against religion, and there's a thing about religion is man-made. Faith is of nature, of the universe, of God, of whatever you want to talk about. But we could talk about the differences. So just that quick summary, I for the longest time said The Matrix was my religion because that one just hit me. I was there opening night. just because it kind of was like this movie, Better Man, where didn't know I was going to see it, just happened to fall into it. And just, I saw beyond a Kung Fu movie, and I saw exactly what the Wachowskis were trying to do with it and tell the story of birth and how what you think is not what's real and perception, all this other stuff. And it just cracked open the universe for me. And every time I go back to it, I find a little something new to go, oh yeah, I do. Or at least to go, oh man, how much my life has changed because I adopted that principle that I learned and now I'm better for it, those kind of things. But you want to know the heartbreak is, I think was Tenet, the 10th Doctor.
I'm not good at that, but we'll say somebody will check
the 10th. Yeah.
We'll check that.
Tenet's Doctor. I know he's like 2 numbers. He's like 10th and 13th or something like that. But Tenet's Doctor, when it came down to the end of the Maestro storyline and the whole prediction of the one who knocks and this and that and the other, and everything's done, and I was right there with him, and he's on the ground. He's like, oh my God, I didn't die. Oh my God, I'm still here. And then you hear the tap, 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 tap. And it's like, I mean, I can't watch that without I know it's coming every single time, but every time I start crying like a baby, it's like, no, you're my doctor. And too much.
They did him right though. They did him.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah. So that was it there. And sometimes you got to do that to get back in your creative flow, right?
No, it's true.
You need to go find a good cry or a good laugh or something. I love watching stories about people who did something. You know, it doesn't have to be creative, but you know, they went to the Olympic. Oh, I watched that movie about the Olympic. Give me a second to tell you what she did. Boxer, the Olympic female boxer. I cannot remember the title of the movie right now. Because here's the thing about Screen Unseen. It's usually the screener versions, the audience test versions. So there's no title up front. There's no
opening credits.
Right into the movie. Yeah. And so I always forget a lot of, if I didn't know what they were, like Gladiator 2, of course I knew. As soon as I saw Scott Free Productions, I knew what we're going to watch.
You're like, woohoo!
But it even skipped the opening of the movie. It just showed you the movie. There was no title screen or anything like that. 10th and 14th. Thank you, Kaz.
Mine too, Kaz. It's her favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Mine too.
Yeah. It's 100% my favorite. But anyway, I love it inspires me to see somebody go through something and find myself in that and what I can learn from it. And I will 100% say, I really wish I remembered the name of the movie, because this female boxer who went to the Olympics not once but twice, just amazing story, and still without being, everybody has their own gauge what ham-fisted is, what strong-armed is, right? Over the top is. But from my perspective, is all I can say, without being over the top and pushing any kind of agenda or anything, it showed a reality of how women were still treated poorly, even back in like 2008, I think was the first Olympics she went to. And I was like, wait a minute, we're not, I'm going through and going, wait, we're not watching something old. We're watching something that what are you talking about? It was that way. And what are you talking about? That's how and I remembered some of the iconic things that came out of her Olympics. Because back then, me and my family was just the world still kind of is, but I'm not. But I was hooked on it, and I went, oh crap! I remember those Olympics. I remember that boxer in a red dress on Sports Illustrated or Vogue or whatever it was, and going, "This is." As a white male in America, I was like, "Thank you, the fire inside, cause you are the best PA. Look at her produce the crap out of this show." All right, the fire inside. Thank you. But it was this iconic. It was supposed to be an iconic photo of I think it was Vogue magazine, maybe they did, but this fighter or some kind, and she's in this slinky tight red dress. She looks great, but I was thinking, what the heck does that dress have to do with fighting or boxing or Olympics or anything like that? Why are we not showing her do her thing? This is dumb. And that was kind of that moment in the movie. That's kind of the point of it, was the guys over here just sweating, looking ugly and horrible, doing their thing, and the girls have to jump through all this. Anyway, I love watching those things. That inspires me to create more. It inspires me to go, man, you overcame a whole lot more than I'm ever going to have to. I can get off of my butt and get this next thing done. So what do you draw inspiration from?
Well, mine's a lot less intellectual than that, philosophical, but it's music. 100%. And it's different kinds of music. Celtic music really speaks to my soul. I believe very much in the connection to our family and our history and ancestors. So being largely Celtic music just stirs a part of me. But if I'm writing um, my cozy fantasy, I want music that is medieval and fantasy. And actually, again, there's a World of Warcraft tavern album that I will pull out, and just hearing the clinking of the glasses that starts it will make me go, oh, okay, let's think about something fantastic. And I love writing to classical music. I don't like writing to music that has words, because the words, I get attached to the words and I can't get past that. But any type of symphonic orchestra music will do it for me. So
I cannot remember if I saw you talk about this on your panel or if I just picked it up somewhere else. So if I'm quoting you or your panelists at one of the recent mini cons that we've done together here last year,
it's been a lot.
But it is about the psychological triggers of that. Of if you, was that you guys talked about if you sit down? Okay, go ahead and talk about that.
So, and this is a Tales by Bob and also a Clint, but definitely Tales by Bob. Bob Magoo has almost a ritual that he can do to get his mind into where he should write. So that can be everything from like, I just recently set up my diffuser in my office so that I can have a certain kind of scent when I want to write. I can have music that I play. And so for me, one of those cues is music. So if I'm at a coffee shop and there's craziness going around me, if I want to use my ADD to my advantage, I put on some headphones, I hyper focus, I put on that music, and it takes me to that place. It's why a lot of writers will have playlist for their album, for their books, because it's the music that they listened to while they were writing or while they were thinking about it. But Bob has kind of like, he's taught his body, he's trained it, just like, we talk about habits. You can train your body, your mind, to get to a creative space. And for him, it's music where he sits, where he's at. For me, because I write everywhere, I need to find things that can help me take that with me. So music is an easier way for me to do that. And it definitely works for sure. I mean, 100%. If I'm going to write about my parents, I'll pull those nature cards by Katie Davis. That's her name. And it will immediately lock me into a memory that I'll start writing about. So ritual, I think, plays a huge part in it.
Yeah. Memory gets tied to that kind of thing. Man, there's some psychological thing that somebody was talking about at one point about the scent. What can you smell that immediately takes you back to your childhood or to your home or, grandma's kitchen?
Honeysuckles.
Oh, yeah, I grew up with honeysuckles.
There's a street in Stone Mountain that I would literally drive down with the windows open to smell the honeysuckles, because it would take me back immediately to my childhood.
Interesting. I am not honestly sure if I even remember what that smells like. I mean, I'm sure if I smelled it, that's probably that. But and oddly enough, when I experienced honeysuckles was through a fairly traumatic part of my life, yet I don't tie those memories together. No, you're fine. But yeah, there's me, you talked about music, and mine is a lot of media. And especially in the early days when I was hungry. And this is where I think there's a phrase like the youth is wasted on the young. Because I think of myself back when I started all of this, started building all of this, I was bored to tears, had zero creative outlets. I was just hungry and energetic and had all the time in the world and wasted a lot of it because I just didn't know which direction to go in and what to do. And just, I was a nova star exploding. And now I was like, I'd like to time travel and just bring my younger self back to now. I was like, hey, bud, I'm going to go make us some more money. You do all those ideas, but here's a form factor. Here, watch these videos I made for you. You're going to be great.
It's awesome. Just do this.
Just nail it. But I can remember the fire station that I really started all this in and discovered podcasting. And either the guys, I had them on for the 20th, Two Guys, One Brain. Either something comes up about them or a video game I was playing at the time or a song I was listening to. Because that's what I do. I'd listen to podcasts and I'd play, video games, or I'd play music and play video games. and something will pop on, and I'll just be right there in that memory, right there reliving it. And to be able to apply that to creativity, I need to practice that. I need to. There was a good time where Saturdays I would come in and I would what now would be edit and produce Be Awesome Together, edit and produce Wise and Nerdy, and edit and produce Metron. And now, I mean, that takes me an hour and a half at most. And then I would sit afterwards and I would work on finding the stories, and I would work on editing web pages, and I was just in this flow for hours. And, then about 3, 4 in the afternoon, I'm not coming out here 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, 3, 4 in the afternoon, not feeling like I worked at all. Just, man, this is great. I'm a little tired. I'm realizing I'm tired. Like, oh man, I've put in like 6 good hours, 7 hours a day, going to the house and chill out, play video games. To be honest, since Dragon Con, well, actually, yeah, because we even said I did Conjuration after Dragon Con. It's been, there's the shows. I'm just going to shut it down for today. I'm not feeling it. And if I could get, like, I don't really like scents, so I'm not sure what kind of scent I could do, but if I could do some kind of music, like, okay, well, sit here, close my eyes, let this music really kick me into gear, and then go at it, maybe that would help.
It does for me. And I've been really big on meditation. It was like the thing that I always wanted to do and always sucked at. And then I learned you don't actually suck at it. You just do it the way you do it. And that doesn't have to be the way the Dalai Lama does it.
Yeah. The Dalai Lama would say that to you.
Yeah, no, he would 100%. Yeah. I have so much more peace this year. Like, even there's like crazy things going on occasionally around me, I've been finding that since I've kind of closed out last year, there's a more sense of peace. And when I can find peace instead of chaos, creativity is easier. So for me, like, we're putting up Christmas right now. And part of the reason why we need to do that is I need to get back control over my space so that I'm not thinking, oh, I need to go do the dishes or I need to go do that. Yeah. Taking care of as much as I love chaos, and I am chaos to some extent, taking care of that is amazingly liberating. Like, my office right now, I know that looks crazy, but
to us, it's fine.
I'm going to get a little curtain that closes it anyway. But the rest of my office is, everything's put up. My monitors and everything is now great. I've got a light that I love. I got my monitor. But so now I feel like, okay, I don't have to think, oh, I should do that before I create. I've already done that and I'm ready. And so I think that's the difference for me this year so far, is getting rid of some of that chaos.
You talked about putting away Christmas and dishes and those kind of things. Sometimes doing the chores, getting that thing off, it wears you down. The little things we don't realize. I know I didn't realize for a long time. The little things wear us down.
Oh yeah.
And it's just that little friction that turns into the blister, that turns into a sore, that turns into you losing your foot because it just wore down. That's what gets us. And I'm back at a point where I need to clean up the studio, but it's not as bad as it was before. And there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cans between me and the kids. Only 6 cans on the desk. At one point, there was like 40. So, but I cleaned it up, and that helps that flow of things.
Yes.
And sometimes doing that, just getting the little things off your plate so you can breathe. Mine was reversed on that. I'm always doing stuff to clean up, not literally clean up, but clean up my list, get this done, get this done. And then there's always oh my God, I still haven't got to that. Oh my God, I still didn't put up the security camera. Oh my God, blah, 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 blah. I didn't put the shelf cover up. These things are, every rational human being in the world goes, we can take 5 minutes and do that. Now, I'm not saying yours was, but mine was 5, 10, 20 minutes max. We just do it. Just pull the Band-Aid. Let's do it. And we put it off and it just becomes bigger than it is. Mine is reversed. I think I said multiple times in the past that I'll have all these great ideas when I'm all by myself and I cannot just hit record. And the moment I get somewhere, gone, all gone. And I didn't know what to do to get past that. And partially, I went to one of your panels about writing, and you guys were putting out all these different tools, and I looked at a lot of them because I wanted to see how they inspired me in other ways. I have a book in me. I'm just not ready to do it yet. So I'm just, it's fine. But I was like, okay, how will it help this idea of making videos? How will it help these things? And inspiration, what it was for me. I looked at the tools, saw what they did, knew that the tool wasn't going to help get me where needed to go, but it got my brain going, attracted a newer, better answer. When Stephen was on at the beginning of Year Wise Nerdy talking about second brain, I know I talked about last episode too, but that second brain concept of using tools to get your ideas down.
Yes.
You guys were even talking about being able to dictate as to, like, that was something that I got from you. It was like, oh, you're driving your car and you have this idea. Well, of course you can't just type, but maybe you hit a button and record a voice memo. Then you can drop it to, I think, Microsoft Word or something, and then it'll transcribe it for you. And then this will help clean it up. And then now you have something usable that you can start building into your book. Yeah. Like, okay, cool. Now I need to do that for ideas. And quite literally, on my Android, which I hate, but this is a great little feature. And I had Apple has Notes. I actually like this app Keep Notes a little bit better.
Oh, okay.
Don't know why, and I don't know if it's on Apple. I just know it's on Android right now. I literally made a note called Second Brain because that's just how straightforward I am, Stephen. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 topics already. So
you could have helped tonight. I love this.
I will tell myself I go out and buy cleaning supplies thinking it'll inspire me. Never works. No, I got you. I've had to stop buying toys.
Oh, yeah.
It took me forever to pull the trigger on those microphones because I've bought so many, I call them toys, but soundboards, microphones, monitors, cameras, lights, so many productive things that inspire me. And I don't do it. I just spend more time on working on it. But Tyra, yes, okay, yes. I probably had a topic we could have talked about tonight. I didn't think about it. But I think this is even better. It helps us help others get through that reality of, I just don't know what to do right now.
I think Melodic Blue said Google Keep. I haven't tried that one, so I'm going to pull it up.
I don't know if I've tried that one.
And
I know Steven does Obsidian. Go ahead, Kaz.
Kaz said something to me. She said, sometimes doing something like cooking, it keeps part of your mind occupied and the creative part of your brain has the freedom to create. And 100%, I try my favorite mornings, like if Shane's not here or I wake up early, is I will get up and I will take care of emptying the dishwasher and putting up the dishes because it's something that's easy. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it makes me feel like I've done something. I've started my day. I've done something productive. I've kept chaos at bay. And it does help you to kind of get away. With brainstorming, we talk about letting it, stew, letting it, cook for a while. And that's when you go and you cook or you go play golf or you go run around the block if you're a crazy person. It's too cold to do that right now where I'm at. But absolutely. And Kaz just said, by the way, Apple has Journal now. I keep trying to do that. I'm not the best, but I tell you what, I love my Calm app. I love my Calm app.
What's that one?
It's my meditation.
CALM. Gotcha.
I have a lifetime subscription. That's how much I use the mother. But it's great. It keeps me going.
Google Keep is equals Keep Notes. Oh, Melissa says I believe Google Keep equals maybe it does. Mm-hmm. And it's not because she's also using Android. Like, okay, so I'm gonna poo-poo on Android, but not the users. It is a brain thing. Yeah. Apple fits my brain. And here's another psychological principle for life. And that's the only reason I did this. Changing something simple in your life can change the way you think. And something as simple, I'm just going to use a male reference because this is the one that was given to me, but it's shaving your face. Like you don't realize you brush your teeth the same way pretty much all your life. You shave the same way. You do the basic. You probably don't even realize you probably wash your body the same way or you organize your closet the same way. So something as simple. Touching on all this hit me 4 or 5 years ago at Metron, and I was like, oh man, that sounds right. Let me change my studio a little bit. Oh, I do feel a different energy. I don't even remember how I used to shave my face because I decided to change it differently after he said something. And ever since then, for the last 5, 6 years, I've done it that way because it just changed the way I thought. And I like how I think right now. So I'm keeping, but yeah, just changing phones. Apple hadn't made big enough jumps. I'm like, you know what? Let me see what Android is doing with the Samsung. I think it's the Galaxy Ultra 23. Like the camera stuff. Let me see what they're doing. No, changing too big can wreck you. And my brain knows Apple, but it just works for me. Just like I know a lot of people are going to go see Better Man. Just in case you aren't familiar, it's Robbie Williams. He's huge in England, not so big here. And I mean, I knew about him. I was surprised more people didn't. But I also didn't know much about his music. But you're huge in the UK, and everybody knows the story. He's very public, this and that and the other. And when they made his biopic, they decided to make him a CGI monkey, like a spirit animal almost, and everybody else is human. And it's not odd. It's just that's that. Lots of people are like, well, we don't know who this is. Why should we watch? What's this stupidness? Look, either you get it or you don't. And that is the thing. And I got it. I got everything about it. I got why they did the monkey instead of a human. I got everything about it. But I cannot explain it to somebody who doesn't get it. And that's the same way with getting motivated to create is, I know we're all going to watch Tyra be a whole different energetic being the moment that shelf is the way she wants it. Even though everything else around here is pristine and clean, it's that one is getting her, right?
It's going to be fine.
Sure. I'm going to turn this more into like a talk show man cave kind of thing. I don't know how I'm going to do it because I'm always 20 years of podcasting. I've always done it exactly how I'm doing it right now, at a desk or a table with a monitor or computer, some kind of computer in front of me, watching my feedback, watching my recording, watching this, my notes over here. But I've got to change that because I need to break into that next level of creativity. And this isn't working for me anymore. I don't know what to do.
I actually set up my office. Like you can't see it, but behind my chair, there's actually a chair and a half, and I have it set up and I have a pop-up desk that I can use at it if I ever want to like have a conversation with somebody. That's one of the reasons I bought a pop-up desk. I have multiple ring lights. Like that's the old fashioned, you can't see it right now, but there's an old fashioned ring light there, but I bought my torch ring light, which I love.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
It's awesome. But, so doing those things and making sure that if I want to do something different, I've got the spaces and the areas to do that. Really, I haven't used them yet, but I know I'm going to sooner or later. I was going to ask you a question. Blast it all, I forgot. Kaz gets out ideas in the shower. I do too. But don't take your phone in there, even though that's sort of waterproof. Not really.
Yeah. But going along with the notes, right?
Oh, yeah.
I have found that I can hold an idea now. Like I've been through from Friday until now. So it's been a little less than a week as of this recording. I knew I wanted to ask that question to Travis about, hey man, this movie really impacted me. It's really driving me, in a good way. It's driving me mad. It's like, I'm thinking about it. I want to go watch it again. I'm probably not going to go watch it, but I'll probably get it on streaming when it comes out again. So I asked that, but I've been wanting to do that question. I have to trust right place, right time, which is what I've kind of dedicated my life to over the last 10 to 15 years. Right place, right time. And not get mad that I didn't make it Friday when I could have. Right. And I was supposed to call our friend Mark Gunn on Friday and I just slipped my mind, just didn't do it. And he called me out a little bit. He had hip surgery, but he's doing well. So,
oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Mark. I don't think anybody did. He just messaged me. If I wasn't supposed to tell you, sorry, buddy. But he's doing well. So everybody said good for Mark. But I'm not mad at myself. I didn't drop a ball. It just wasn't the right place, right time, but it will be. And once you get enough of those will be moments happening, to trust the process.
Well, but you got back on the horse.
Oh, yeah. I just held that thing. And then this morning it was the right place. Like, I'm going to do my video because I am ready. There's no negative. I'm not even tired of not asking it. I'm ready now. And I did the video and it'll go out tonight, after this recording. And then I'll do another one tomorrow, something else. And sometimes it'll be random, but yeah, I have 6 solid notes that I have yet to touch for my videos. But the freedom it gave me is knowing that I'm never going to go, well, I don't know what to talk about, guys. So here's my backyard, I don't know.
Your backyard is cool, but
I know, but I feel bad doing that. I've done that video once, like, oh look, there's a car going by, butt face. Yeah, I don't know.
I think the other thing that helps with being creative is believing in yourself.
Yeah.
I think that getting past imposter syndrome, self-love, self-care, all of those things, happy mental health spaces can help you create, though sometimes creativity comes from the worst of places. But you know me, this year I'm trying to strive for happiness can breed change gently.
It really can. It really can. And something else I do keep at hand is an ink pen and something to scribble on. Because like you lost your questions, you had them. They seemed like they were good questions, and I love giving answers. See, yeah. I write down bullet points. Now sometimes my bullet points, I go back to them and go,
what the?
I don't remember what I was thinking. What I wanted to ask here. It just says mud water. Okay, moving on.
So I did have a question that has nothing. It's sort of to do with this because you're talking about your videos. What are your feelings on TikTok? What are you going to do? Okay.
I was going to ask you. I'm waiting because I see zero future of no TikTok. I just don't see it.
Somebody will buy it.
When I say that way, I think the government's going to give. I think they're going to find some loophole. They're going to do something to save face. They're going to give. There's many times I can see things coming. I can go, okay, here's the dominoes. I can almost see the little matrix symbols coming down. Go, okay, I can see the possibilities. There's no possibility of no TikTok. There just isn't. I'll be flabbergasted if it really comes down to the United States being what we've never been in the past.
Other countries have banned them. But I do think that
from the get-go, though, yeah,
it would be good if they found another buyer. They found a buyer, and please don't let it be Elon.
Well, that's the thing. I think it would be bad. I think the whole thing is we're trying to steal from another country, and not the whole part of it. I think there's a lot of ignorance about what it is. I think there's a lot of fear about what it can do. I think it's a lot of just unknown people. Just I got to do this thing that people think I should do. But I also think if we force some company to buy it or them to sell it to an American, we are stealing, and that's going to change our culture more than just TikTok ever did, as a heart. Because we're going to rise. Some of us are going to rise up. Some of us are not. I don't mean violently. I just mean wake up, talk more, get on the other platforms and see how ridiculous this is. We went after something that somebody else created magically. We are Thomas Edison in this scenario. We are the American settlers who came in and took the freaking land from the people who are here, indigenous, I can't say it right, before us.
But they will be amply compensated. So there is a huge difference there.
I don't see it. I don't see it. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't know.
It definitely does have some issues, and it has those issues because of where it originates. And those issues need to be dealt with.
I saw a great point somebody made. It's like, oh, what did China do with all this great information they have on me and influence me? Oh, showed me some recipes that I didn't discover. Showed me something new to learn that I didn't realize I wanted to learn.
That's not the point.
And I think the point is ridiculous. The point is Americans, Fox News, CNN, everybody who runs their mouth in this country is way more influential and brainwashing and BSing than an app.
Yes and no, but we'll leave this argument for a different day. Because algorithms exist for a reason. President Obama, when he left office, said in his closing speech, make sure that you don't put yourself in a box, because if you get your information and news from one place, that place learns what you want to see and what you want to hear, and it will feed you that. And that's 100% true across all of social media, because they want you to stay on whatever platform you're on. So,
well, not just that. It's the idea of the tail wagging the dog. The whole idea of propaganda and all the early wars that we studied where, hold up your cup. Oh, it's Tangled. It is a very nice one. You got that at Disney, didn't you?
No, I got this from Amazon.
Okay. That looks really high quality.
It's a Tervis cup. Tervis makes good cups.
TERVIS. Gotcha.
Yes. So yes, thanks, Melodic Blue. I love her too. She's my favorite princess.
So it's there's a lot we could talk about that. Maybe we should. But I will always pivot. Pivot. And since YouTube stole TikTok's ideas with shorts, reels don't cut it. They just don't pop as much as the Instagram photos do. And they just a minute and a half.
Reels. No, you can go longer than a minute and a half.
Is it now? Because for a while it wasn't.
Yeah, I know you were saying that, and then I was like, that's not true. I today watched a reel that was like 10 minutes long.
Okay, well, good, because that wasn't the case when I was trying to do both TikTok and that at the beginning. I was like, yeah, I can't. I was actually putting in extra work. I do my 8-minute video on TikTok, then turn around and record a very hard, tight minute and a half summary, and say go watch the whole thing on TikTok, which I gave up on because it's too much work. And who's really doing that? If you follow me on Reel, you're doing what I'm doing. You're on the platform you want to be on. You go, oh man, that's really cool. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I watch so many creators that are like, hey, you can watch the full unedited video over on YouTube. It's not my thing. I don't go to YouTube. Right. But I'll absolutely find shorts or something else to do. What about you?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I don't think that any of the ones that they're saying are going to be the next thing. There's a red one. I can't remember the second half of its name. Lemonade.
That's the Lemonade is one by TikTok as well, but the red one is an actual flat out Chinese social media thing that you have to get translated.
It's not going. That one's not going to work because they're going to censor everything that goes into China. That's just what they do.
Yeah,
we know that. That's 100%. I don't know what's going to happen if anything happens to TikTok. I know that I have seen some creators that are moving more into Instagram now or trying to build up their Instagram space in case TikTok goes away. I think that's probably the easiest jump. YouTube would be the next one after that, rather than going to a platform that's completely different. It's sort of like with Facebook just talked about how they're not going to fact check things. I have to tell you something. Twitter uses community notes, and I actually find them to be more accurate, sadly, than a lot of fact checking, because the community comes in and says, hey, no, here's the citation for why this is not true. Or here's, people are actually linking stuff and putting time into it. So
I heard a little bit about that on DTNS.
Yeah. So people are, I actually, we'll see how it goes, but they're going over to Blue Sky, and I'm on Blue Sky, but does it work like Facebook? No. Does it, did I find the people that I wanted there? No. Could I find my groups? No. Even though we have lists, and Bobby's made a list for the digital media track, and I can find those people, but I can't find my Chiefs fans. So
yeah. And that's the thing. I use
Red Nose. That's it.
Yeah, I use TikTok to show me a different part of the world, and my algorithm is all over the place. Now, and yes, I did notice it is true with everything. It becomes an echo chamber of what you put into it. It's the world. What you put into it, you get out of it. And I found, because I was liking Daily Show during the election, I was getting more of that kind of feed, whereas I'd see other people getting the other kind of feed. It's like, holy crap, none of it's real. I mean, I like the Daily Show, that not being aside. I'm talking about the independent creators are like, oh my God, look how great Kamala is. Look how dumb Trump is. And then you see the other one where they would do the same thing, and it's all spin at some point.
Oh yeah, and but you're only getting one type of spin and only one side.
Yeah, and so you gotta remember that.
You remember.
And then you just got to remember, we all just live in the matrix, and none of it matters anyway. All right. But leaving with one more thing about what you do when you're tired, when your life is going on, when things happen, the nights that you're rushing home to get dinner and then get right upstairs to do Be Awesome together. How do you push through and sit down and then have a great creative moment?
So for me, I would say that it is actually dedicating the time. And I think that's why I'm such a great collaborator. I think that's why you and I working together to do this, and I write books with people, is because I can point and say, this person is depending on me to do this. I have to do this. I have to commit time to it. Where if it's time that I'm trying to commit from just myself, I have a harder time doing that because I can say, oh no, I really need to do this for Shane, or I need to do this for the house, or this or that. But if I have a collaborator, I have to say, no, I'm sorry. We know that I do this every Wednesday night. So I'm going to pick up Bojangles chicken for us tonight. So accountability, a lot of writing groups will have writing sprints. I had a partner that I used to meet every week and we'd write. I miss that. I don't have that right now. And I really, really wish I did. That's something that I'm still searching for. Body doubling plus buddy system helps you do the thing. It's so true.
Yeah. I didn't think about that in the past. Some of my most creative moments were when my partner at the time, Armand at Mon, was at my house, and he'd be there for a few days because he'd always like to come and work. And I was working from home. Can't remember if I was on the hustle, if I was just working from home, or both, but I had a smaller studio and workspace, and he would just be over there working on his business stuff. We'd spend an hour working on success streaks things. It was just working in an environment where getting things done is very, very helpful. And there are definitely times when he's like, hey man, let's work on this thing. And it would be remote, like you and I are right now. And he would sit there, and I would literally, that's why I've always had 3 screens. I'd have something up playing or doing or working, because he really just needed me there. So he'd get it. And 20 minutes later, silence. Okay, how about this? And he'd read it back to me, and whatever he's doing, I was like, hey, here's 2 seconds of feedback. Cool. And he went right back to it. I was like, oh, I thought I was more of being a muse. Like, I'm your muse. I'm your inspiration. I'm your feedback. But I guess it is more of that, just co-creating in a space, even if you're not working on the same thing.
Yep. 100%. Writers do that. I think this is something the writers community does a lot. We'll do writing sprints. And there's I can't remember what she changed the name to. I will tell you next week. But there's a group on Facebook that they have certain times that everybody hops on their computers and writes together in silence. And does writing sprints. I need somebody that I'm meeting once a week to do that with. That's a goal of mine, to try to find a human being to meet me at a coffee shop so that I have to do the thing.
It's tough. And you have to have the right person. Because I'm like, you and I could connect on Zoom or something, and you do your thing, but we won't, because I'll go, oh, hey, here's an idea. And then we'll talk for an hour. So we inspire each other when we talk. And then we'll go, we got nothing done today, but we got a whole lot more ideas. But
we got shit done.
Yeah.
By Tyler, the way, how did you do that, Tyler?
Tyler said, I made and uploaded a 5+ minute video every day in 2012 talking about major creative burnout, because you weren't ready for the marathon, son. That's what that is. You jumped in good, but you weren't ready. Everybody,
a year is a long time.
It's so is 5 minutes when it's the hardest thing you've ever done. I mean, everything, but you can always build to it. You teach multi-hour classes in the same day. I guarantee you, if I were to sign on for my first semester as a new instructor at your school, I would not be able to carry that load like you carry it.
I don't like to carry it, but yeah, I mean, it's exhausting.
And to Tyler's point, I'm always been a talker, but I still had to refine it. I still had to create it. And nowadays I forget what it's like to be tired doing that. And I'll have people go, oh my God, I just did like an hour and I'm exhausted. I'm like, I'm just getting started in an hour, baby. Come on, 3 hours. We'll take a quick pee break and let's go for another 3. But it's 20 years of just doing it.
We still get creative burnout, I think. I mean, I do.
Yeah, sometimes.
Where it's hard to figure out what to talk about, which is why we have notes where we're writing those things down in the middle of the night, and trying to keep things to keep us stimulated. But I think creative burnout happens. I think also just burnout happens. I think that's much more likely for me.
Here's a theory for you. Maybe we burn out
so we don't fade away?
That's a great point right there. I'm not wriggling it, but no, that was brilliant. I'm going to repeat it in case you missed it. Maybe we burn out so we don't fade away. Holy bleepers. Batman.
Every now and then I have a moment.
That was wow. No, I was going to give a cause, but that is, I wish I'd said that. That was freaking brilliant. Well, one, if you try too big, right? I literally did not start off trying to do an 1.5 to 3 hour podcast. It just, I had to bare my soul. This is the bear calling days. I had to bare my soul. And I just, whatever time it took, I did that. But even here with this show, Wise and Nerd, somehow my natural number is an 1.5 because every time I've tried to keep it tighter, my partners that I work with, it just goes. Now, by myself, finding the stories is almost naturally 50 minutes long every time. And yes, I do some editing, but it's never for time. It's about flow of conversation when I edit that show. And it is almost, yeah, that two dorks, Steven says, it's because we never know when to shut up. There's that too.
Yes.
There's that too. But I think sometimes we burn out because of those little things. All that friction of the little things of, oh man, I don't want to do this. Oh, I can't do it. We make it bigger than it is. It took me.
It's the dishes.
It's the dishes. They just pile up and pile up and pile up. And then they stink. And then you're really mad at yourself. Just saying for a friend. I didn't do that.
It's true.
No, I did that. And it's like.
We've all done it.
But if you just go and clean that thing right now. Do that. If Tyler, that's 2012, it was a long time ago. But now I would think you just go, okay, I want to go and see what kind of fun I can have. And cool. And now I got a little something out of it to enjoy. I did a lot of Call of Duty content that never saw the light of day because one, I'm bad at the game. I had fun with it, but I was bad at it. But I didn't have the right inspiration to make the jokes I wanted to make. Mm-hmm. And that's where I've gotten better at the TikTok. Not just writing
call
notes.
You Betty White say, in a minute.
Right. Hey, that'd be an honor. I'll take that. But it's Steven. We tagged each other back and forth. And I told you about that. And the beauty of that, there was just so many layers of genius to that. But one of them was very much, you don't have to watch the other one, the first video to get the second video. You can fully just follow Steven and you get the point, or you can fully just follow me and you get the point. Because I'm professionally stitching these videos and he's just tagging me. But hey, he's sure whatever. But you get the vibe, you get why. And my God, Steven's style is so different from mine. It's peanut butter and jelly. It just works so well together. Because his thing is I'm going to paraphrase you, Steven, because you've obviously never actually said these words. It's like, sit on down. I'm going to tell you a story. And it's just this parable. And he's like, yeah, Charles got a podcast and he tagged me the other day. And he's got a really good point. But let me share my heart and really just dunk on him in this very cool, charming way. And even I'm going, like, share. God, this guy is so good. Like, wait a minute. I set him up, but he is so good. And me, I'm just like, boom, look at this creator. And my energy is different, but it just works. And I found, and new people are following me. I hope new people are following you, Steven. I saw Travis kind of jump in on a conversation, other people. And that's like, okay, I like connecting with people. And I ramble the most when I don't know if somebody's listening. Because I'm not sure how to hit the point that I'm trying to connect to.
I get that.
You have to, for me, I have to have a magnet. Now, I don't have to have a partner, but I do have to have a magnet. So that's what my topics are. Like, I know the topics are going to touch somebody because they mean something to me.
Right.
So that's my last bit is if you're using Tyler's example there, if you are a visual game creator, find what you love about it, and then maybe find a friend. You're in a great community at the DragonCon Digital Media Track community. You can find somebody that you'll jive with, that you'll say, hey, take a look at this and tell me the funniest bits. Or tell me what would make a great short form video. We talked about short form videos last week, right? Yep. And not a coach, not somebody to tell you how, but somebody you trust that goes, oh yeah, I like your style. Oh, this is funny. Then you go, what? That was funny? He's like, yeah, no, this cracked me up. And that helps you see those things get out there. So Tyra, I know you've got like 15 books you're writing, and
Yeah. I have
a whole bunch
4
of things
right now in my brain. But the bad thing as a writer is they will like nip at your brain and drive you insane until you get them on paper. And I'm to that point now with a couple of the stories that I have got to get them out so that I can make way for the next thing. So I don't know what I'm supposed to be answering now. I have no idea.
No,
I
you're
think
not
I'm like
sharing
2
things.
dorks. I cannot make a video less than 2 minutes. I have to wander to find my destination. I frequently do that. Um,
I think we're preserving the art of storytelling.
yes, I
You
think
know, with
storytelling
that.
is so important.
I
Matter of
grew
fact,
up with
it's
Garrison Keeler.
oh, um, oh crap, Paul Harvey.
Yeah, Paul Harvey, and that's the rest of the
It's his
story.
story. I mean, his son does them now.
Yeah.
Not
Even
quite the
Casey
same.
Kasem. You remember
Yes.
Casey Kasem? He would tell stories about the music, and it's a short minute long story, but it made that show. And
No, it's true.
yeah, and so I only feel bad about wandering to find my point when I'm not sure where I'm going to land, and I know I repeat myself a little bit, and then I catch it and I find it, and I should just go back and edit that. But that's also not my brand and my style. Is I like to show you the process during the process. Now I would not. Steven says, "Man, I love Paul Harvey. I'm a 70-year-old man."
If you haven't seen Paul Harvey, if you're too young to know Paul Harvey, you need to find him and listen to some of his stuff because it's heart touching. It really is. It will teach you how to tell a story. I think like let's look at Norman Rockwell. Norman Rockwell can tell you as a graphic artist how to tell a story visually and particularly with light. Look at how Norman Rockwell uses light. Paul Harvey teaches you how to tell a story that touches people's hearts. Find the storytellers.
Okay.
Not necessarily Charles and I tonight because our story has gone all over the planet.
I can almost hear him saying that. Paul, today's program is brought to you by Bose. I can't do his voice, but he would always go, Bose speaker. And you can tell he's reading copy, but it didn't matter. Right. Oh yeah. Louis Guzard.
Oh my gosh, Louis Guzard.
That's the first one I think I mentioned. But yeah. And we're going to answer this and get out of here. But that's the question. Does anyone care about long-term storytelling, or is that the audience on the way out? But that's the only thing that has lasted through the history of humankind is storytelling. And the only thing better than telling the story is being in the moment and making the story. All the philosophers, the prophets, the followers, the leaders that we follow, everybody is telling a story. Even to today's politics. If you step back and look at the elements are there, they're setting up stories. They're just doing it in ways is harsh on the ears. We don't like it, which is great because you shouldn't like politics. Politics are horrible. But everybody will sit down and watch a story. Sometimes it's in a picture, like you said, Tyra. My wife loves little kid videos. Her TikTok is full of birds, dogs, and babies. And then like people picking things out of ears. It's so weird. I hate that part. Yeah, she's like a Dr. Pimple Popper kind of girl. Yeah. But
moving on now.
Yeah, but the babies, right? The 30 seconds, you get the whole story of what that parent was thinking, what they saw in the moment, because the kid just did this thing, and it's funny, you're laughing. Or the bird, her favorite bird says, I love you all the time. It just comes up to 10 seconds, comes up to the camera, goes, hello, or whatever. Storytelling is there. And it's always been there. And that's why musicians are so good. I mean, the big, deep musicians. We have a Swiftie on the show. Taylor Swift tells a story in every 2.5 minutes that she produces.
That woman, like there's a song called crap, I forgot the prophecy. And the prophecy is about going through and getting your heart broken, crushed, and just devastated time and time again. And you're screaming at the sky, please, what do I have to do to change the prophecy? And I bawl like a baby when I sit and listen to it by myself, because it is literally the song that almost every woman I've ever known has felt at one point in her life, if finding a mate was something that was important to her. that you are like, when is this going to end? And amazingly, she wrote that song, and I think it ended. I think she found the guy that's going to change the prophecy. Shane was my prophecy changing, but I remember that feeling. And storytelling is what does that. It reminds you that you're alive.
Yeah, 100%. It helps us find that connection. Why do you think we're so quick to jump on drama, to jump on? Because it's a story, and in some cases, a story that we don't have to experience. But then you have the big heartwarming was. It's always the weirdest thing on the news, right? I just remember the 80s and 90s when I actually watched sit down television news, and they were like, 15 people were killed in Chicago today in this gangland shootout. And you're like, oh, you're chewing up that story, going, the drama, the violence. Oh, thank God I live in Georgia and not this horrible place named Chicago. And then they go, and there's a squirrel on a surfboard. And they would always hit that human interest piece at the end to rinse the palate. But I guarantee you, people who grew up in the 90s, I said squirrel on skis. I should have said skis. Squirrel on skis, you know. And you remember because it
my
was
husband will remember. I won't.
Yeah.
I'm old.
So it's crazy that way. But everybody has those references. So yeah, Stephen, I think everybody will always hear the stories. They'll tell the stories because we won't stop telling the stories. I do need somebody to listen. I do need that audience. I need that love bigger than life. But I will still tell my story whether somebody's listening or not.
True. And just in case you wanted to hear good news and fun stories, find Jen, the good news girl, who'll give you a good news story every day.
Oh, what is that on all the socials?
Yeah, she's on all the socials. This is Jen.
Jen, the good news girl.
Jen, the good news girl. And it's like about a minute, maybe 2 at the most. Fun reporting stories from around the world that will just warm your heart and make you smile.
That's really cool. Do you want to talk about the awesome people we have coming up in the near future?
Yes. But can you talk about something else for just a minute while I find that file? Thank you very much. I'm not logged into my drive. Hang on.
Without starting yet a whole nother project, all I want to do is sit down with Stephen for just a very short 30 hours a week and just talk and share stories. And then start a podcast where our wives swap stories about us and how crazy it is that we're creators and all the con crap that they have to put up with. But that's all.
Hold, please, while I look at
keep going.
Keep going. I've got to do a QR code now. So I got a new Mac Mini, and I have got to log into everything on the planet again. Sorry.
Yeah, change is fun. Change is hard. But that's. I know I'm in this next step gray area. Like it's book 1, book 2, book 3, whatever is finished, and book 4 is coming out in a year from now. Is what my life feels like. 6 months from now, whatever. Because I'm like, okay, I'm 4 more steps close. I'm right there on the edge of just sitting here doing media all the time, and then I can set up this conversation, that conversation. I can do this flow, and just have my life flow, and it's not quite there yet. It's that anticipation of that show's going to drop here in a few months. That book's going to drop. I really do think it's 2025 is where I'll hit to I'm going to say 90% of my income is going to come from media, of some sort. I'll be teaching some EMT classes, those kind of things. So, but that no more managing the crap that I don't want to manage, but doing the stuff that I love. Are we there now?
We're there now. And by the way, I don't think I like this dynamic camera thing that I turned on. So please let me turn off center stage. That was crazy. So anyway, I'm just a barrel of ADD tonight. So next week, you heard me right. We have a guest. We're going to be talking about the life of an artist, Phil Rood, I think is how he says his name. It's Rood, but I'm going to call him Phil because I'm not positive about that last name. He is a comic book artist. He also is an avid guitar player. He's an illustrator. He's just awesome. And he's that illustrator guy. And so he's a comic illustrator, a writer, a guitar hack, a cat dad, which definitely matters to me, and a hater of writing bios, which he sent to me. So I can't wait for him to be on next week. I think he's going to be great. And then if you remember from Dragon Con, we had Hissin and Kissin. do their podcast live, and they're going to be coming on talking about romantic things with us. As well as whatever you talk about with Hissin' and Kissin' people. So Sarah and her co-host will be here on February 7th. And on February 12th, Charles and I are going to be talking about relationships. That should be fun.
Hey, you mentioned Leia Han, the I love you, I know thing. True story. Happened to me. So
did you marry her? Or is this somebody else?
No. I mean, there's a much longer version we'll talk about the relationship one, but my wife said at the time, she was not my wife, but she's like, I love you. And all I could say was, I know. And it was not a Star Wars reference. I was not being funny. It was, and there's a story behind all that, but that is.
She still married you.
Yeah, because she realized I know everything and just doesn't. Yeah, I'm like the watcher. I just sometimes things get said in weird ways. That's all.
So, Charles, where are you going to be this weekend while I bail you out of this pile you're in?
With my wife at Chattacon. 90% sure she's going to be there. There's a chance she might not be.
What's this 10%?
Kids suck. FTK is a tattoo of what? You know, you can imagine what is the ends with them kids. You can imagine what the first part is, but it's like my son has a big wrestling. My youngest son has a wrestling match. My youngest daughter has basketball. There was something else, and she's that mom that thinks that if she misses a second of one of the things they're doing, it's the end of the world. And I didn't know she knows it's not that, but that she just always has to see. I mean, she said it as like, I don't think you do, but I hope you really appreciate that I'm going on this trip with you. I'm like, I knew how she made it. I was like, wasn't that too like that? You just take your stupid butt home, you know. But I was like, no. But in all honesty,
you didn't fall for it, did you?
No, and she was just wanting to say how difficult it was for her, but because she won't be working either, which is becoming an important thing for her. She does roadie and does deliveries and those kind of things, and really enjoys that. And instead we'll be driving, but she also wants to come to Chattanooga and she wants to hang out. And I said, look, the only thing that would really change on this trip is the whiskey thing. So I couldn't do it because I won't have a driver if she didn't go. So other than that, and that's fine. I said, everything else would just be a normal con week for me. But that's why she's 90% coming. But I gave her an out. I said, but you can go see your kids. It's fine.
Couple time is important.
She knows that, and I know that, but I also don't want her missing out if it's going to ruin the whole weekend, but I don't think it will. But so yes, I'll be at Chattacon, which I still need to do some work for. I gotta refine. You always like to refine my game to the con I'm going to.
That's true.
Which I might be doing on the car on the way up there Friday. Do some basic. I know I'll be interviewing Little Red Dot. She is the gaming guest of honor for Chattacon this year. It's the first time they've had a gaming guest of honor. It's for the 50th anniversary. They've added that this year. I've worked with her in the past. We interacted Dragon Con. You know, we kind of go in the same circles, even though we've never like sat down and done very much together. But I always like to do some extra research. So I'm going to have to research that. And then we're doing a number of other panels.
We are. We've got to be their guest. We're doing with Bob on Friday at 5, starting off the con. Very excited about that. We're going to be the three amigos this weekend. We're also talking on getting started in podcasting on Saturday. And then we have some other stuff that we're doing that's throughout here that I can't look at fast enough, but come find us both at Chattacon. Just in case you didn't get enough Charles and Tyra, you can get even more.
Yeah. And in person. And we sign autographs, $50 each. So it's all good. Oh, I'm sorry. Tyra does $100. I undersold her. My bad.
I love you, Charles.
I try. Yeah, look, see, Steven,
I love you.
Never enough Charles and Tyra.
He's always invited to the party.
Yeah.
Even though y'all had the party without me.
Which party was this?
Party while I was at Disney.
Oh, yeah, we did. We totally did. So I forgot about that already.
It's okay. Yeah. That's how quickly he forgets about you. Anyway, let's bring this on home. I got a husband to go see.
All right. RGOP42 on Linktree. Tyra, you have a Linktree? Or just TyraBurton.com?
TyraBurton.com. Come see me there. Oh, what am I doing? Hang on.
Oh, she has confetti while she dances out. All right, everybody. Go be awesome this week. Share some of your awesomeness with your friends, your loved ones. And if you hate that person, tell them to come listen. We'll give them a good, awesome hard time.
We'll give them hearts.